glad to have you join us this morning. It's another Tuesday, and it is time for KALU'S Mandate on several radio stations, definitely live on FLO 94.9 FM, Vision Africa Radio, Real FM, Family Love FM, ABN Online Radio and TV, all in Abia State. And this is where we highlight the activities of the member representing the good people of Bende Federal Constituency, who doubles as the spokesperson of the House of Representatives. Welcome. My name is Michael Oni. We have the Honorable joining us virtually as usual also this morning, all the way from Abuja. Good morning to you, Representative Benjamin Kalu. Glad to have you join us this morning.
Good morning, Michael, and it's a pleasure to speak to Abians, especially Bende people from time to time. So I'm happy to be here.
All right, let's quickly begin because of our time. Members of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress marched into the National Assembly and the State Houses of Assembly last week to protest that move by lawmakers to remove the minimum wage matters from the exclusive legislative list to the concurrent legislative list. Will these protests affect the lawmaking process of this bill? And if yes, how?
Yeah, thank you very much. It is the beauty of democracy and government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And if there is any step that the government is about to take that the people are not happy with, they are allowed to register their complaint. Section 39 gives them this right of freedom of expression. Section 40 gives them this right of peaceful assembly. So the protest that they did was within the parameters of their right. But however, in the course of making law, there are processes that we must observe to ensure that laws that we don't want to see the light of the day does not see the light of the day.
Okay.
It goes beyond protest. So I encourage the NLC, who did well to mobilize their members across the nation, to take another step, which is ensuring that the lobby, through their various houses and House of Representative members, register their complaint with them and ask them to present it to the House when we meet, both at the committee level and also at the public hearing. They have another option of coming to public hearing and registering their dislike.
Okay.
I got a letter from them recently, and that is a good step, and I'm sure they wrote to other people. So in the course of lawmaking, this is what must be observed. We have seen what they are saying, but beyond that, we want them to take the right step, which is registering their complaint before the public hearing and also through their members, through the members representing them at the federal house.
Okay, Representative Benjamin Kalu, you said something last week. It was this week or last week? Because it was last week, and it's been generating a lot of reactions in the public domain and, of course, by stakeholders in the country. You said the National Assembly is broke. Why did you say so? Can you still defend that? Do you still insist that the National Assembly is broke? Can you hear me?
I raised this issue.
Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. It's not the first time I raised this issue. This is about the second or the third time. Okay. I've always raised the issue. And despite the clamor from the public, who may not really understand the details of what is going on here, it will not stop me from raising it over and over again.
Yes, it is still KALU'S Mandate. We're live on several platforms, and of course, the transmission, of course, the signal emanating from FLO 94.9 FM. Since we have issues with the connection, we're trying to put everything in order so that we can finalize the conversation today on the program KALU'S Mandate. It's been a virtual conversation with the member representing the good people of Bende Federal Constituency at the National Assembly, who doubles as the spokesperson of the House of Representatives. The ninth House of Representatives in person of Honorable Benjamin KALU. Now let's take a look at some of those things he mentioned. He's been able to clarify some things concerning the protest that took place last week. He said the Nigeria Labour Congress and of course their other affiliate unions should ensure. Okay, now I think we have him.
It's gone up to 400, 500. The purchasing power of that budget then and the purchasing power of the same budget that has remained at the same amount up till now can never be to 139.5 billion. In 2019, it was 125 billion. It reduced to 125 billion. In 2020, it came to 128 billion. And now it is at 134 billion. And people are saying, are you saying that this money is not enough? The truth is that what people don't realize is that there are several agencies and over 5,000 staff in National Assembly, NABRO, Institute of Legislative Studies, NASCOM, maintenance. And what people don't understand is that this money is divided into Senate, House of Rep, as well as the management. And when you break it down, what the House of Rep gets is 60% of the money given to National Assembly as in Senate and House, not the entire institution. And you know that the House of Rep is about 3 times the size of Senate. But we get 60% and they get 40%. And if you look at it, you find out that it is not balanced. And even the money that is meant for the Senate, I'm surprised how they are surviving. So until we begin to get enough money that will enable the committees function effectively, I tell you, we are broke. Wow. I say so because we have over 50 to 60 bills that has refused to move from one level to the other. You know why? Because there is no fund to do their public hearing. Okay. Accumulated debts by past assemblies have hindered the current assembly from taking care of their various responsibilities. Are you aware that some of the members don't even have their official vehicles till date? I am still waiting for mine to come. So we can go on, and people out there think that it's a different narrative, but this is the real narrative.
Some of the critics of the National Assembly are now of the opinion that if this is happening, for example, if it is happening in the private sector, the organization will be looking at downsizing. That we should leave this bicameral legislature that we're using in Nigeria, and of course take a look at downsizing the legislative activities of some of the federal lawmakers. Do you think it will help since we have paucity of funds?
I don't know what you mean by downsizing. This country is big, and we have diverse tribes, ethnic groups, religion, and all the rest of them. Our strength is in our diversity. And the only way you can create unity, calm the nerves of so many people, is to give them the sense of participatory democracy, where they see one of theirs speaking their mind out there. If Bende people, Mpa people, Itumbos of people, Item people rely only on what comes from the governor of the state or the minister, I can assure you that we'll be in darkness for a very long time. But when they know they have their representative, like me, Dr. Jikalo, speaking their mind and presenting their problems at the National Assembly, the problem becomes better solved. So if they want to raise an agitation, instead of waiting for Mr. President or the governor of the state, they know who to go to. Just imagine what that coming together of 360 people from different ethnic groups, different religion, different languages, different tongues does to the unity of this nation. If you remove it and reduce it to a paltry amount of people out of these 200 something million people, there will be crisis in the country. And the beauty of bicameral legislature is that it creates that check on each of the houses of assembly. What do I mean by that? A few people sit and they think that this line of argument is good. This law, this bill is beautiful. and they push it out. But if you have a second view to it, the second view might say, this is not good. Let us reframe it this way or that way. So, because we know we are going to be checked by the Senate, and the Senate knows that they're going to be checked by the House of Rep, everyone is careful in constructing the bills that affect the lives of Nigerians. So we can't go away from bicameral to unicameral legislature. It will do a great harm to our country. What we should know that at the time these appropriations were made in the time past, dollar at that time was about 160 to 170. Inflation has taken place, whether you like it or not. The cost of running the parliament remained largely the same. And no economics supports that. I don't know the kind of economic formula that people are applying in analyzing that the same amount of money 10, 15 years ago should remain the same amount of money when there is impact of inflation and all the rest of them on our budget. You know, if you talk about oversight, the duty to oversight this 1.3 trillion, that is 13 trillion in the Federal Republic, it's much. And the other day we had the NSA, he withdrew the statement saying that the money appropriated for the military, we cannot see what it was used to buy. And the burden shifted back to the National Assembly. Why are we waiting for NSA to find this? We ought to have found it. And the question is, we are looking for pursuing Nigeria's money. It is our duty to pursue Nigeria's money. Now, in doing that, we cannot use 0.08% to oversight the entire project. I have argued, obviously, severally, that even private sector supervision of projects, when you give a consultant the right to audit a project, he does not charge you less than 1%. He will charge you from 5% to 10% of the entire project cost. But here, the National Assembly is asked to operate with 0.08% among all its responsibilities to oversight 13 trillion. It does not work. It puts pressure on the National Assembly to start looking for help from the people that oversight. We need vehicle to take us to the site. We need this to do that. And by the time you're doing that, it brings element of compromise. We need to be fully independent. As separation of power made it, that independence is missing. We should do something about it.
Let's talk insecurity now. It's a rising phenomenon, and which has further manifested in the recent wave of attacks on schools and the kidnapping of students almost every week. There is abduction almost every week. What do you think will be the lasting solution to the insecurity problems that we have in Nigeria?
I was discussing with one of my aides yesterday, and he brilliantly expressed his opinion when we were having our internal management discussion. What he said was, when you cut off the flow of the money, when you look out for the economic activities that benefit the people participating in crime, because in every crime, there are economic benefits around it. Look for those economic benefits. Look for those economic activities around it and shut it up. If you follow it, you will trace where the money is coming from. If you cut off the money that is funding the criminal activities, definitely these things will water down. So it is high time that we began to use other approach towards this insurgency. In fact, the young man gave an example. He said 300 people kids were taken from a school. To take 300 people from a school, you need about, if you are using 18-seater buses, you need about 20 18-seater buses. So those 20 18-seater buses left the bush, drove all the way to the school, and you need adults to control those 18-seater buses because they are kids. And then pack all of them into the buses, monitor them to the place where they were kept, feeding them, taking care of them. Somebody must be responsible for the funding of this operation because it takes a lot of money to get this achieved. This is the truth. So what the young man suggested was follow where the funding is coming from and cut it short. And I agree with him. So in as much as we chase them into the bush and all the rest of them that we're doing, let's take time to begin to look at where is the source of funding of this thing coming from. If we were able to close down the account of those doing NSAS, to cut short the fund that was funding the youth on the street, we can also stop the flow of fund that is funding this operation. Without money, no crime will thrive, because AK-47 is not kobo. They don't sell it for penny. Okay? And they have plenty of it. They display plenty of it. So let's find out where the money is coming from and then chuck it there.
Okay, let's talk about some of those.
Moreover, as the legislature, as a legislature, we'll keep using legislative intervention to support the executive in their fight against insecurity. That we can guarantee.
It is Ben KALU'S mandate, and of course it is where we highlight the activities of the member representing Bende Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. He doubles as the spokesperson of the House of Representatives, and of course this is where you get the feedback from the your lawmaker who is representing Bende Federal constituency at the House of Representatives. You can also follow him on his social media handles, and of course get back to him through those the handles both on Instagram and Twitter. It is at official Ben Kalu, at official Ben Kalu, both on Instagram and also on Twitter. Let's talk about some of those motions that you were part of. You were a co-sponsor of the motion on the need for states to comply with the 2014 Pensions Act. How does this benefit the pensioners in Nigeria?
Are you aware that out of the 36 states, if you include the Federal Capital Territory, it becomes 37. 25 out of these 36 or 37, they are yet to remit workers' pension. And only 17 states out of the Federal Republic of Nigeria have enacted pension laws.
Only 17?
It is very serious.
Wow.
Because these people who are only 17, and all these people who are working for federal government, working for state government, when they retire, they need to have this security that they will not become beggars on the streets. And it is a responsibility of the National Assembly to make sure that we encourage, that we urge the states to begin to implement what the Pension Act 2014 in Section 2, subsection 1, that says that every public service in the Federation, even the private sector, should have a contributory pension scheme. We need to preserve the integrity of those who are laboring for us, for our national growth. We need to preserve their dignity so that when they leave office, they will not go back to the street and start begging. The prayer of that particular motion is to encourage the states, to urge the states, the local government, to begin to embrace, to see pension as a very serious element of our national growth. Because poverty will be increased if these people who are working for us leave office and go penury. That was what the motion was all about.
Okay, let's talk about...
Are you there?
Yes, I'm with you. I can hear you loud and clear. Let's talk about some of those projects that we've been updating the good people of Bende Federal Constituency every week on this program. The water in Nkwa, the update, and also the ETM transformer, and the workers also for the solar mini grid. I believe there is an update on that, and also some other infrastructural development that you've attracted through your representation at the House of Representatives.
Because we lost some time, let's just go straight to the point. But before that, it is important to know that I participated in an international table discussion around the security of our environment due to climate change. Last week, it was one of my activities last week, and the European Union was there. The UNIDO from the United Nations was there.
Yes.
African Parliament was there, so I was one of those who raised an advocacy about the environmental impact of climate change in our various communities around the nation. It is frightening, So while we talk about insurgency, when we talk about the security of lives and property, it is important to also remember to talk about the security of our environment because it affects everyone. It's been observed that the Niger Delta area, which we are part of, will be losing about 15,000 kilometers, by 2100. We're going to be losing about 15 kilometers, and there's going to be 1 meter sea rise. And you know what that means, the sea level rising. A lot of flooding will be there. And the biggest degradation that have been felt, the impact of the climate change that we felt in the southeast has been the land degradation. At the moment, we have over 2,300 gullies in the whole of southeast.
Wow.
You'll be shocked to know that Abia has 300 gullies in the state, and Anambra has 700. Ebonyi has 250, and we have 400 for Enugu, as well as Imo, which has 450. Now, if you come down to Bende, where that I represent, gully erosion has been stopping us. That was what informed my first motion when we resumed plenary on the 6th of June. And you see places like Amankalo Alai, about 4 kilometers, has been affected. They lost their farms, their streams, and they're about to be, relocated. A certain part of that place. Ititulo, Itumbuzo Road is also affected. And then you go to Amabo, Amokwelu, Ndio Fuji. You have a gully erosion there. If you also go to Ozita, you see erosion there. You go to Mimenyimpa, you see a very big one. But I thank God that the president has approved a major construction that will include the bridge. The bridge that we are carrying cups on their head and crossing during rainy season. I've been fighting for it from the 6th of June that I made that motion, that first motion. As I attracted the attention of the president has signed the request, and it has been approved. The consultants have been there twice, and in the next couple of weeks, work will start there. It will include a bridge, will include about 4 kilometer to 5 kilometer road. So Mpa people should be rejoicing because something big is coming to them. And it has to do with erosion as well. It has to do with all this climate change. Let us speed up to what the questions you raised. Yes, we have transformer for Item people that has been finalized, and the contractor is on his way. By this week or next week, I think they'll be having that.
Okay.
And the buildings going on in Abia, it's about 12 of them, schools and both renovation, both new ones. They are almost at the final stage. Our target is to finish up at the end of March. We don't want it to go beyond end of March. And so far, so good. School distribution materials, they are still arriving. We are distributing few and more. And you'll be glad to hear also that this week we gave more money to about 150 to 200 people through the survival fund.
Okay.
So many people got 30,000 to help them in their businesses. We are not, some people are seizing this money in Abuja and putting it in their pockets, but we are releasing it to bend the people, to enable bend the people, have a little dividends of democracy that will help them, add it to their businesses and see what they can do for themselves.
All right. What about the water project in Umpa?
I'm so happy about Umpa. I mentioned it last week that we have gotten water finally there in Umpa, and I'm very glad about it. They've raised the tank. Very soon, they will put about 6 points, and the people will start enjoying clean water. In fact, it's one of giving Umpa water this year is one of my greatest achievements because the water I saw they were drinking was not good at all. So Oziltem own is up. The tank is up. They are lying the same thing. So very soon more. We're bringing more.
All right.
And the partnership with Dr. KALU'S is really yielding a lot of dividend for our people.
Okay, I'm happy that the producer has given us 10 more minutes, an extension. So I will use the opportunity to get feedback from our listener this morning on the program Ben KALU'S Mandate. We've been speaking with the member representing the good people of Bende Federal Constituency, and of course he doubles as the spokesperson of the House of Representatives. You have questions, you have contributions, you want to share your thoughts on some of those issues he has addressed this morning. The lines are very much open. 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. Also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. Please, let's go straight to the point as soon as you get connected on the show. Hello, good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, Michael.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Honorable Mike. Good morning, sir. Honorable, good morning.
Yes, go on. He can hear you.
All right. I remain Mr. French Fellow from here, no Monarchical Gold. I'm very happy on how the man has enlightened us. But there's a question I want to ask him. In as much as one of his aides has advised or given a very good point on how to stop this insurgency by stopping the funds of this insurgency. My question is this. Don't allow that idea of your aid to be a waste. What have you done or what moves have you made to stop the funding of this insurgency? Then secondly, we told us about the bicameral legislation that National Assembly, that's the Senate is almost 109, and you people, that's the lower house is almost 360 years. On this money you are talking of now, you be telling us that you are being running short of funds. What move have you made? What legislation can you do as a spokesperson of the house? What move can you make to make sure that the dividing of this money between the upper house and the lower
all right.
will be equal? Instead of telling us the citizens.
Thank you for your contribution. I think. Did you get that, Honorable? Okay.
All right, please.
Okay. He spoke about the paucity of funds and is asking, what can you do? The legislation you can put in place to ensure that money is being released to you, so that as to carry out those legislative activities of yours. And he also spoke about the issue of insecurity in the country, that a very nice idea raised by your legislative aid, and he said that how can you put that into legislation so that it can be followed and we can see that there is this breakage in funds being transferred to those bandits and of course the criminal elements.
Okay, on the issue of what law can we make so that we can have more fund, I have actually been fighting with the leadership of the House, personally. You cannot create committees and they are not funded to do their job. And I told them you cannot also be afraid of making budgets for the smooth running of your own arm of government while you approve trillions of naira for other arms of government to function effectively. It's a disservice to Nigeria. I have led this argument even to the displeasure or approval of certain members of the House. If we are appropriating, we use law. The law we use for to increase money or to reduce money is called the Appropriation Act. And I'm suggesting to the House, and I've been pushing it. I've been leading the advocacy. We should look at the current realities, economic realities, current needs analysis of the House, and begin to project that into the appropriation bill that we look at, ignoring our own needs because we don't want Nigerians to condemn us, because we don't want Nigerians to shout that we are taking the money home, and now leaving the work Nigerians have asked us to do to suffer. It's a disservice to Nigeria. Close your eyes, make the right budget that is enough for the work for the House to function, not for individual members to take home. I'm talking about the institution functioning. I'm not talking about money to be allocated to the members of the House. No, I'm talking about what helps the House to function. We must include it in our appropriation bill. Okay. Now, on the issue of insecurity and the suggestion made by my aide, how are we going to put that into law? We have various agencies that have been charged with the responsibility of protecting our lives and properties. All we can do is maybe through motions in the House, because we function through bills and motions, through motions in the House, mandate them to do 1, 2, 3 or SYZ function to help them in securing our lives better.
All right, let's take more calls just before we wrap up the program this morning. Hello, good morning to you. Welcome.
Yeah, this is Chief Chukwemeka Izuka. I'm calling from Ibere.
You're welcome, Chief. Calling from Ibere.
Yes, I want to thank Honorable KALU'S who is representing us in the House. I want to say that we have never had it so good. Ever since we went to that house, it has been one form of empowerment or the other. In fact, some months ago, we distributed hundreds of beds to us. I was a member. I was a beneficiary of that project. I want to say that as I'm speaking now, I sell eggs in my house. The bed he gave to us, I've started laying eggs, and we are all happy for that. And I want to use this video to thank him immensely. And just a few months ago, he distributed a lot of motorcycles,
All right.
a lot of
All right, Chief, we have to go because of our time. We do appreciate your contribution. Thank you very much. Did you get that?
Yeah. I think once in a while it's also good to hear from your constituents who are happy with what you're doing. Some people are only criticizing without, telling themselves the truth. Yes, Bende has not had it like this before. I've been in Bende. I'm not a foreigner to Bende. And what we are doing is to be selfless in our representation. We need little to survive. We are not here to be rich. We are not here for ourselves. We are here for the people.
All right.
And so anything we see, we take to the people. And so far, they are impressed with what we are doing. And beyond empowerment, we're also getting jobs for people. But we are keeping it quiet. You'll be surprised some people have gotten jobs in prominent places, including CBN.
Honorable Ben Kalu, we need to step out of the studio already.
Keep representing
our time is fast spent. Thank you very much. We do appreciate, and we do appreciate our partnering radio stations also. Thank you very much. Next week is another time on the program, Ben KALU'S Mandate. Honorable Ben Kalu will be here to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abians. I hope we'll get more time in the future so that we can engage more. Thank you and God bless you.
You're welcome. And many thanks to the partner radio stations and media houses from FLO FM to Vision Africa Radio to Real FM in Abia and also to Family Love FM, ABN Online Radio and TV. My name is Michael Oni. The program returns next week, 10:30 a.m. Do enjoy the rest of your day.